What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. This video is requested a lot by you guys, and it's basically how I pick my stocks on a daily basis and what I do from A to Z, what it is that I'm looking out for, and also we're going to look at a live trade on exactly how I trade those stocks. Subscribe if you're new, drop us a like on the video, and let's head in to the actual video itself. Okay, so what do I look for on a daily basis and how do I know what stocks to choose? So firstly, I trade only catalysts, all right? I will only trade a news report or a news event or some kind of earnings that's gonna move a stock in a particular direction. It's very rare that I'm trading a stock on no news. We only ever trade those sort of stocks within the community when there's no news happening and the market's fairly quiet, okay? So there's always news coming out. There's always some kind of stock that's affected or some headline that's affected it or some earnings or whatever it is. So the key is to look out for that, okay? What I usually do is I'll go onto Twitter. I follow Daily FX, Live Squawk, and these guys update me constantly with Twitter headlines about what's going on and company earnings and whatever else it is, okay? So in this particular stock, I'm recording this the day later, the stock that we traded yesterday was Macy's. Now, you probably know what Macy's is, especially if you're in the US. Now, the reason why we traded this was, as the headline reads, Macy's holiday sales top estimates lifting company to its first profitable quarter in a year. So as you can see, Macy's on Tuesday reported its first quarterly profit in a year as its efforts to slash inventories and rely less on deep discounting during the holidays paid off. Now this stock, the open, rallied like a madman. And yesterday was a day when we had a mad sell-off. We had a ridiculous sell-off on pretty much all stocks across the sector. This actually come off about 6-7% after rallying about 3 or 4%, and then eventually come back and ended up 5-6% up on the day. So you had to be really quick with this, and this is a certain strategy that I like to play on a daily basis, especially when you have an earnings beat and the revenue's good and everything else. So again, I'm not looking for too much. Like down here you can see earnings per share, 80 cents adjusted versus 12 cents expected, and the revenue was 6.78 billion versus 6.5 billion. That's all I'm really looking out for. I don't really care about anything else. And then what I will do is we click onto this next page here, I will look and see here at pre-market. You see where I'm highlighting pre-market? I will look to see what that's doing pre-market. Now if it's up a certain amount, I know what sort of pattern to play. If it's down a certain amount, I know what pattern to play. I've got certain patterns to play at the open on these particular stocks. So yesterday it was up about 1-2%. I know that that is nowhere near overbought. I'm also checking to see where it's at on the yearly highs. So on this, we can see that the yearly highs is 17.73. You can look at all-time highs, but I don't really do that. And then what I'm looking to do is play out a particular pattern based on what's happening in the pre-market and based on what the earnings and revenue and forward guidance is telling us. Pre-market is the indicator for you to understand what's going to happen with that stock. You know, a lot of the time, pre-market is telling you something. It may smash earnings and revenue and whatever else, but if it's down pre-market, that's telling you something. Someone doesn't like what they've read, and you have to act accordingly to that, okay? So let's actually head into the trade and how I traded it yesterday. Okay, so as you can see, we're just waiting for market to currently open. I'll just put in my amount to see, and I will check the margin size as well. It's quite small, so I went a little bit higher. I always know roughly what sort of margin I'm gonna use on each trade. So let's just wait for the market to open now. As you can see, it didn't open up too high because it was only up 1 or 2%. But look at the speed in which this rockets out from the gate. I don't even have a chance. I missed this move really. I don't even get the chance to draw out my 2%. And I just quickly kind of do it just to get onto the move. But that's already moving quite a considerable amount from the gate, and the fact that it's only up 1 or 2% tells me that this has got a lot more to go. And as you can see, just before that, I put my trade on because this was moving like a rocket. And I know that because it's not overbought and I know there's no profit takers, this is telling me that this stock wants to push higher. And as we can see, it really starts to do so. We slowed down a little bit. I wasn't too bothered because that move already is a 2% or 1.9% move from the open. And now we can start to see the stock just carries on and on. It just goes like a rocket, absolute rocket. That's up, it's now at 3%. And I'm now trying to get my 2% from this straight line. It's going to hit my 2%. I mean, it doesn't even stop me out because it moves so quick. So I manually cut myself out. Sorry, we were unable to process your deal. I don't know what that was, but yeah. In terms of that trade, it's probably one of the easiest trades you're ever going to place because, I mean, look at that. That is literally just a straight line. But it's not necessarily the trade itself that's important. It's getting to the point of knowing what stock to trade and what's going to be the stock that you want to be trading that day and how you're going to play it. A lot of people are able to trade the stocks, but they don't know where or how or what to do in order to find that stock in the first place or what that will mean for that particular stock. And that's the really important part of trading. You know, the earnings and everything else, understanding what that means for that particular stock will tell you pre-market firstly, and based on what it's up, down, whatever it is, I'll know what pattern to play out based on what it's doing pre-market and whatever else the earnings is saying, okay? So for me, I keep it very simple. I go on Twitter, look out for news headlines or looking out for earnings, then go to Google and find out what it's doing pre-market and actually read the news headline based on it. If I like what I see, I then go onto IG Index, choose that particular stock, and then I play the stock to the pattern that I know it's going to perform based on what that earnings and everything else is. So guys, I hope that helps. If you're new around here, drop us a like and a comment and subscribe. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram. It's LockStockTom. And my website is www.lockstocktrading.com. And I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Cheers, guys.